what's up you guys? This is Steffi aka In My Humble Opinion and welcome back to another Fan Reaction Friday video. In today's video we are watching Season 4 Episode 3 of The Crown. The episode is entitled Fairytale. So let's get right into it. Ooh, the following episode includes scenes of an eating disorder which some viewers may find troubling. Viewer discretion is advised. Wow. Alright, we're gonna get into her bulimia, I'm assuming, in this episode. Or we'll start. Oh my god, what the hell was that? Did you see that crawling across the floor?
Did you get on one knee?
No, I didn't.
I'm surprised by the question.
I thought in terms of rank, the Prince of Wales only ever knelt before the sovereign.
He didn't say that.
What did you say? After all that, she at least accept.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow, we don't get to see the moment?
That it was the happiest moment of her life.
But was it the happiest moment of your life, sir?
I sent her back to London.
Boy, tell me.
Where does she live? In our court.
Wow, this is crazy. They literally showed her walking down the street in the documentary that I was watching the other day. So to see it play out in The Crown, I'm like, oh my god.
And?
Oh my gosh, Edge of 17, yes! Come on! Awesome song choice. Very fitting. Like, ooh. That's so sad. Like, she's like happy, but... Oh my gosh, you like can't help but feel bad, man. You can't help but feel bad because you're just like, ooh, girl, this is not gonna end well. Oh!
That I should be her teacher?
Well, one queen to the next. Mother-in-law, daughter-in-law might be nice.
Oh, no. There's a lot to learn, a lot to get right. And you know me, I'm far too much of a softie.
I like that she calls herself a softie. But I feel like she would have been perhaps maybe a more fitting choice aside from like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship because, see, this is what I love about The Crown because we have experienced as the viewers the time span, the story where we see, like we actually see a young Queen Elizabeth and we saw those moments back in season 1 where she was like thrust into suddenly becoming a queen at a young age. So that's why I really love the format of the show because when we see those moments and we finally get to now here we are in the 80s, it's just like those lines like hit more. But I feel like maybe in hindsight Queen Elizabeth would have been more appropriate. Not the biggest fan of the grandma, honestly, but
A toast to no more worries.
No more flatmates.
to no more worries.
And to one day, not too far away, being the fucking queen.
Oh my gosh, it's so sad. She just seems like such a normal young girl.
I'll be on the phone morning and night.
No, you won't. You'll be too busy trying on tiaras and having tea brought to you.
I love that shot. That's such a cool shot.
My princess.
Wow, and her life was forever changed.
In Manila, in the middle of a state banquet, when who barges into the room? None other than Imelda Marcos.
I love that Imelda Marcos reference.
Lady Diana Spencer, Your Majesty.
I was speaking.
Oh my gosh, this is scary.
Oh dear. Sorry. Your Majesty.
Oh my god, this is so sad.
This one next.
Sir.
Your Royal Highness, if it's the first greeting,
Right.
then sir. Now me.
Mom.
Oh wow.
Anyway, where was I?
Being rushed through the streets of Manila.
Yes, in
Madame Marcos's private aquarium.
That was horrendous. That was horrible. I felt like I was feeling secondhand embarrassment for her. I love the cinematography in that scene because the constant circling and then cutting to her reaction, it was very overwhelming. Like, I felt overwhelmed watching her, so I can only imagine how she actually felt, but oof, rough. Oh my gosh, wow. Oh my god, the head tilts.
What was it about her that made the biggest impression on you?
Ooh, look at that. The lens of the camera.
You both look very much in love.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh!
Whatever in love means.
Oh man. Ooh, the tension. She didn't like that answer. I mean, I wouldn't either. What the fuck is that? Huh?
You don't look like that.
Like what?
I'll see you at the airport tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, they like really didn't know each other that well.
Does the phone have a little crown on it? We saw one of your interviews on television. Oh yes, Di, they played.
Oh, I love how they call her Di.
Did you hear how he answered when they asked if we were in love? He said,
I know, we heard, but don't worry. He was probably just a bit embarrassed.
No, he was probably just a jackass. His heart is already with someone else. I feel like she genuinely did like him, and she was just like swept up in this world, but fairy tales aren't always what they're cracked up to be, so...
I've asked Mrs. Parker Bowles to get in touch with you.
your ex? Why would you do that?
I just thought, if ever you wanted company, she's the best company.
She's the best company, imagine.
Do you know the one thing I really hate is when I go to a restaurant and the waiter comes to the table and attempts to memorize the order without writing it down.
Her grandma is just the warmest soul, isn't she? She's lonely and she's all by herself.
Dear Lady Diana, I don't suppose you'll ever get to read this.
She has fan mail.
Looks then that it really must be love. To see a young couple at the start
as a poster.
Well, women clearly loved Diana. I can attest. My mom is avid. Well, maybe not avid, but she really likes her, so...
Where they're from. That you were someone I could talk to. But you, and how you have a smile for every...
She's a relatable girl. She's gonna write them all back, or she's gonna attempt to? Well, I mean, she has all this time.
1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my god, I love this. She has just like private ballet lessons in the palace. Wow, she was just like all by herself, waiting for Prince Charles. Yes, roller skates. Walkman. We're jamming. Killer 80s soundtrack.
Could I speak to the Prince of Wales' private secretary, please?
One moment, please.
Oh my god, is she gonna call Camilla?
I'm afraid there's no answer, but I will certainly let Mr. Edine know you called.
Thank you.
Cue Celine Dion's Oh, bye.
I was wondering which number to call to speak to the Queen.
One moment, please. Her Majesty is at a reception, ma'am, but I shall inform her of your call.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, poor girl. Man, we could barely survive quarantine with like internet and social media. I can't imagine. I mean, I can survive. These other people who are out here gallivanting in the streets, I don't know. Clearly they can't. And clearly they wouldn't survive this situation. A lot of like staircase shots this season. Isn't this like the greatest irony? She's like now going to become like a royal status, but yet she was imprisoned despite the fact that in the beginning of the episode when she was just, you know, a regular girl, she had more freedom and was like getting to go outside with her friends. Oh no, here we go, the millennia. Oh, girl. Oh my god. Oh. Oh wow. What I will say is I think it's really great that The Crown is not shying away from this. They're not trying to tell a glossy version of the events. I mean, we knew they weren't going to do that, but like, especially this aspect.
You use your hands far too much. Make gestures when you talk. Gestures reveal us. It's best not to give that away. One should never try to show one's emotions. Now, Queen Mary famously taught her ladies-in-waiting to use rope to stop their arms flapping about like windmills.
Wow, I would literally fail this test. Because I use my arms a lot when I talk.
To a cause that is so
Wow.
incredibly
More visual symbolism of her being constricted and trapped.
How are you all?
Good. Penny's taking your room. Peter's over.
A letter from Camilla.
Welcome to Ménage à Trois.
Menage a trois. Wow, what a fitting place to go.
Fiancé all alone in the house.
I'm actually left all alone in the palace.
Yes,
Well, not the house.
that's what the Prince of Wales calls Buckingham Palace. That's what they all call it, the house.
She knows more about how things work than Diana does.
They made the cardinal mistake of refusing to put a soft-boiled egg on top.
What?
He has a soft-boiled egg with everything. You must know that.
Oh my gosh, again, proof that they don't really know each other.
Darling, I would have thought it would have been one of the first things you'd have noticed about him. Prince of Wales doesn't eat lunch.
What, never?
Oh my god, this is like the worst. You meet the ex, and then you come to find out the ex knows more about the person you're supposed to marry than you do.
You need a proper Fred tutorial.
Who's Fred?
It's my nickname for the Prince of Wales. And he calls me Gladys. It's harmless nonsense, really. You met at Babington Horse Trials.
Yes.
Then Verdi's Requiem at the Albert Hall with a chaperone.
Granny, yes.
Who didn't let you out of her sight for a second.
Not a second.
Then the weekend at Balmoral, where you...
She knows everything.
Golly. He obviously tells you everything.
Well, we talk most days.
Did you talk to him the other day? Because I still haven't talked to him.
He's already talking about either a wild garden or a walled garden.
Both.
Both.
Oh my gosh. The tension between the two of them right now.
So you see yourself living more in London than in the country?
Why do you ask?
So then I could tell him.
Oh, please. Well, let's go Dutch.
Good idea. I'm all for sharing.
She means that in more ways than one.
I need to speak to the Prince of Wales as soon as possible.
I'm afraid he's unavailable.
That's a lie.
Those are drawings.
Of what?
I believe it's a bracelet, which the Prince of Wales has had made.
Oh, and this is the bracelet that I think he gives Camilla, right? Not you, bitch. Oh. Fred and Gladys. Oh my god, this episode should be called #PoorDiana.
Don't fob me off. It is absolutely essential that I see the Queen. This wedding can't go ahead. It'll be a disaster for everyone.
Oh my god. See, look at this shit. They both knew. Is she gonna have like a flash dance moment right now? Dance your heart out, girl. Do some dégagés. Even though your fifth position is like honestly horrendous right now. But that's okay. We let it pass. Oh my god, I love this little like flash dance moment she's having right now. Oh, that's so sad. It's like when she's dancing, that's the only time she has like the freedom to express herself. The first time she's finally seeing him after a long time.
Well, there must have been something very important for you to go straight there from the airport.
As it happens, there was.
Gladys.
I see you!
I saw the bracelet.
Ooh. What a way to kick off your wedding rehearsal. Ooh, see, Margaret, no, she's like, I've been there before, boo.
Gloucestershire for two reasons. To tell Camilla face to face that it's over.
Ma'am, we should have had this conversation long before I entered the picture.
And to collect this. Open it.
See, Diana is just so young at this point and gullible.
Marriage is an honourable estate, instituted of God himself, and therefore is not by any to be enterprised, nor taken in hand.
Margaret is literally all of us right now. We're just like, oh, she knows. She's like, this isn't my first time at this particular rodeo.
Wilt thou have this woman to thy wedded wife? Etc.,
Yes,
etc.
yes.
Oh my gosh. Ha! See, and that's what I have to say. I have to say, for people who are just jumping into The Crown season 4 right now, absolutely having not seen seasons 1 through 3, and especially if you don't know anything about the royal family, you're just like, I'm just here for Princess Diana. It's those moments, like the Margaret looks that we just got, we understand where that's coming from because of things that we saw previously in seasons 1 and 2 and 3. You're missing out if you're just jumping into season 4.
How were rehearsals?
Mummy and I thought lovely. Margaret disagrees.
Charles loves someone else. Forbidding marriages should be allowed. Forcing others shouldn't.
She's like, flashback to season 1.
The older Diana gets, the more confident Diana becomes, the more beautiful Diana becomes. The more Charles will fall in love with her.
That's the heterosexual man's logic. Just make sure she's beautiful, then he'll fall in love with her.
It's madness. We can stop them now, before they tie the knot. Not just for the sake of the monarchy, but for them as human beings.
Margaret knows what's up.
We have to stop them now.
Well, let's see. What does she do? Well, obviously, let's see. Maybe is the Crown going to show that she tries to stop or tries to talk to them, and then we shall see. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's so dramatic. It's hard too, because by this point the public is so invested. Like, there's literal fireworks outside of the window.
But in order to make the marriage work, they were encouraged to focus on the bigger idea. Duty.
That's what this is, Charles. It's your duty.
If you could follow the example of your great-grandmother.
This is the stance she's taking.
Love and happiness will surely follow.
Damn. You feel bad for Prince Charles, too. I mean, you feel bad for everyone to a certain extent, but especially Diana. Oh, this is sad.
King, Queen of Sweden, the Queen of the Netherlands.
Margaret's like, oh man. See, I've always liked Margaret. You could go back to the old episodes, old videos. She's been one of my favorites of the series, so. Ooh, there's the dress, there's the dress!
But the place where the adventure really begins.
Wow.
Just like the wide winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing in the wind, in the web that is my own.
All right, and some post-show thoughts. Wow, this was an episode that I feel like a lot of us have been waiting for since the show started. But yeah, you feel really bad for Princess Diana because she's so young. And I think a lot of us who don't really like take the time to think about the person Diana, because she's such an iconic figure. But if you really take the time to think about the context at which this is all happening for her, because she's so young when she's having to transition from being like a normal everyday person thrust into this royal family world, that transition alone is already difficult. But the fact that she is this young and there is so much pressure, and I think this is something that I think the show did really well, is showing how emotionally invested the general public was with this fairy tale narrative. I definitely feel like there was this sense, to a certain extent, from both Diana and Charles of this has gotten so big. At this point, it's like, we can't walk away now because there are so many people involved. The relationship between Diana and Charles, like, it never really was the two of them. Camilla Parker Bowles was always kind of like on the outskirts, and even though Diana is still so young at this point, she gets the sense that Charles is more emotionally invested in Camilla than he was with her. I think that's another thing that this episode did really well. Like, just as much as you sympathize, obviously, for Diana, at the same time, you do sympathize a little bit for Charles and Camilla, because those two actually really do love each other, but it's because of the institution of the crown that they don't see Camilla as a fit partner. They think Diana is more a fit partner. And I love that Margaret was like, yeah, this feels very eerily familiar. And I don't know if that ever happened in real life, if Margaret like really did have like a little family meeting with the adults and was like, this isn't the way to go. But at least I love that the show took dramatic liberty in this case, because that whole conversation and that whole moment builds off of things that we've seen in previous seasons. So that was really, really great. Yeah, and then as far as like Diana's bulimia was concerned, in the context of this episode, her bulimia stemmed from this feeling of, I have no control at all. Like, I have no freedom to go anywhere. I'm locked in this area of the palace by myself, and I feel alone. And I feel like I have no sense of control over what's happening in my life. So the only thing that I can control is the food and what I'm putting into my body and expelling it out in that way. For me, that was my interpretation of it. And this episode really was the Princess Diana centric. I don't know if we're gonna get more of those this season, but this was the Princess Diana centric episode. Alright, my question for you guys, I think, man, there's so many questions we can ask. I want to know, do you think Charles ever really loved Diana? Ooh, that's like $1 million question, right? Because I feel like, okay, if we're basing it off of the way their story is being portrayed on The Crown, I feel like Princess Diana did genuinely like Charles. I don't know if I would say love, but she did like Charles and she was taken by him, and maybe part of the reason why she was taken by him was because he is the prince and he's gonna be the king and he's part of this royal family institution and it looks glamorous from the outside, but of course once you get in, it's a whole different story, which she comes to learn and realize for herself. But I think she did like him, and maybe she liked the idea of him. And I think to a certain extent, Prince Charles did like Diana, but he loved Camilla. That's the difference. He liked Diana, but he loved Camilla. I think that's where my opinion will lie. I mean, like, as they showed in this episode, him and Camilla, not only do they have history on their side, like they've known each other for so long, but they know each other so well, and that was the difference. And Diana could feel it too. She doesn't really know Charles that well, and they didn't really know each other for that long, yet here they are gonna rush down the aisle together. Let me know, do you think Prince Charles ever really loved Diana? I'd be interested to know. And on the flip side, do you think Diana ever really loved Charles? Comment down below. And alright, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and please turn on the notification button down below so you know when a new video from me comes out, and comment down below your thoughts on this particular episode. I'm going to be plugging my podcast that I host. It's a podcast called Diva Dailies. It's a podcast where we deconstruct divas on film and TV. So if you think that'd be something you'd be interested in listening to, definitely give the podcast a try. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. I host it, I produce it all on my own, and I have different guest co-hosts come in and out throughout different episodes, and we talk about different movies and sometimes TV shows. So yeah, definitely give us a listen. Highly recommend. Well, as always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all my humble opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!